York. It is a pleasure to have all of you here early this morning for helping us kick off Dev Live, the New York leg of Dev Live, and I hope that you stay with us for the rest of the day to see what Oracle is doing in the developer space. I think it's pretty obvious by now to most of us that we are well and truly living in the age of AI. AI is transforming so many things around us. Machines are now able to do things, tasks that earlier required human capital, investment, even creative tasks. That's incredible. And we at Oracle believe that AI can truly transform the enterprise, that it can solve the way enterprises work with their customers, reinvent the way they work with suppliers, employees, new recruits, potential recruits. And the demand for AI among developers is greater than ever before. And so today I want to talk a little bit about how Oracle is helping you, the developer, along your AI journey. When we think about the kind of intelligent applications that developers are able to build with AI, the reality is that it's going to transform many aspects of applications. First and foremost, and we're already starting to see this, applications are going to become a lot easier to use. Users, whether they be business users or consumers, are going to interact with applications using very human-like natural language cues, etc. It doesn't feel like we're talking to machines anymore. And the responses that these applications are going to provide to users are also going to feel very human-like. And that's just an incredible transformation in the way we interact with applications. AI is going to make it easier for us to build applications. AI-assisted coding and development and DevOps will transform the way in which applications are getting built. It's already happening, and that's only going to accelerate. And developers are going to start to demand these assistants because they're going to help remove a lot of the mundane tasks that developers have to do and let them focus on the things that really add value, things that differentiate their applications. And then finally, although we're not quite there yet, I believe that AI will help the infrastructure powering the applications to almost become invisible. AI will help us predict issues, remediate, take preventive action if necessary ahead of time, so that operating an application becomes a lot easier. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of the ingredient technologies, if you may, for this already exist or are being developed right now. The challenge that we hear from developers is that it is pretty hard to keep track of what's happening. Every day there's a new development, there's a new technology, there's a new research paper that comes out. And God knows, every day there's a new piece of jargon that you have to learn. And so as a developer, it can get pretty confusing and complicated to think about, am I making the right choices for my application? When it comes to enterprises, enterprises believe in the power of generative AI. They can see how AI and Gen AI can transform so many of their business processes and workflows. But when you talk to execs, they want to make sure that this amazing technology is being put to use to solve real-world business challenges, and that there's ROI at the end of this effort. And that's why Oracle has taken a very conscious enterprise-first approach and a practical approach to AI. What we've done is infused AI throughout every layer of our stack. And that means we're not giving you a jigsaw puzzle to solve. Rather, it's a set of prescriptive and curated components that allow you to get to value much faster. So what are the layers of the stack? It starts with the infrastructure layer. When we think about AI, the reality is AI workloads, whether they be training or inferencing, place a lot of restrictions, a lot of constraints and requirements on the hardware layer, on the infrastructure layer. They often require GPU-based acceleration. They require high-speed networking, low latency, because you're talking about lots of data that's sloshing around, high-performance storage. And that's why Oracle has invested in providing the best infrastructure through Oracle Cloud, working with partners like NVIDIA, we'll have them on stage a little bit later, providing RDMA-based cluster networks for high performance, low latency. The next layer is data. Now, AI is an amazing technology, but to me, AI is like a really, really smart new recruit. The new recruit doesn't know anything about your enterprise. They don't know anything about your processes, your actual business conditions. And your most critical asset as an enterprise is in the data. And I believe that AI will come to the data and not the other way around. And this is where Oracle's traditional data management expertise really shines. We have infused AI into all our database and data management offerings. But we also provide choice to developers because developers want choice and flexibility to allow you to use open source technology where you need it. On top of that are all the tools and technologies that you as developers are going to use so that now you can start infusing AI, whether it be generative or otherwise, or use case-based AI into your applications. Developers want a full suite of DevOps tools, observability. And then finally, even though we're not going to talk a lot about this today, Oracle is unique in that not only do we provide infrastructure and the platform to power these applications, we actually make a lot of leading enterprise applications across industry verticals, across disciplines like CRM, ERP, human capital management. And this is a very powerful aspect of Oracle because it means that we have captive customers internally who are using this stack, who are telling us where we need to improve. And then finally, none of this would be possible because we need partners. And Oracle is working with a number of partners across our ecosystem to make this happen and to bring this to fruition for enterprises. Let's start with the application development layer. Now, this is a bit of an eye chart. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I want to flash this for just a little bit to show you that Oracle Cloud offers a fully comprehensive, a complete set of tools, all the way from DevOps to code repos to artifact repos. We provide a whole range of integration services for you to build event-driven, modern, decomposed applications. We have a full-stack observability and management suite. And of course, we integrate security throughout the life chain, the life cycle of your application, so that you can make sure that the code is always safe. But I really want to focus on a few principles that really drive the application development platform at Oracle today. And the first one is flexibility. What do I mean by flexibility? The reality is that great ideas, great application ideas come from different parts of the organization. And we find that in many cases, there are people who perhaps don't have the ability to code that want to see their ideas come to fruition very quickly. And we believe that we want to expand, Oracle wants to expand the scope of what it means to be a developer, to bring citizen developers into the table. And we offer a very, very powerful low-code platform. But we also want to cater to the full-stack developer that want to build complex applications using open source and cloud-native technologies. When we think about low-code, Oracle Apex is the leading low-code platform today. It comes bundled with the Oracle database. And the Oracle Apex platform keeps getting better every day. You can build applications 20 times faster with far less code than you need normally. You can extend it with PL SQL and now with JavaScript support, which is incredible. And people tend to think of low-code applications like they are sort of meant for toy applications, but the reality is Oracle is using it every day. I use it in my own teams to build great applications. And with the power of AI and generative AI, now you can infuse those capabilities into Apex apps as well. So very powerful, allowing citizen developers to bring their ideas to reality. Another important principle that drives Oracle and Oracle's application development platform is openness. Developers demand openness. Nobody wants to write an application that is stuck with a specific infrastructure or a specific platform. Oracle has led open source for a long time. We've led over 500 projects. He might not know that we're the #1 contributor to the Linux kernel with over 90,000 lines of code. And when we think about Oracle Cloud, we constructed and architected Oracle Cloud to be open right from day one. When you look at the services we offer, many of our services are based on open source, compatible with open source, or managed open source offering, whether it's our container management platform, Oracle Cloud Kubernetes engine, which is based on open source Kubernetes. So this is a very, very important element for us. But being open and allowing developers to use the tools and technologies that they're familiar with allows developers to not only get to know Oracle Cloud better, but they can develop much, much faster. In order for us to do this, we have to work with the open source ecosystem. And an important partner in all of this is the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, or the CNCF. To talk a little bit about the work that Oracle is doing with CNCF, I'd like to invite Daniel Crook, Senior Director of Customer Experience at the CNCF, to join me on stage. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So Daniel, tell us a little bit about CNCF. I'm sure a lot of the folks in the audience are already familiar with it, but maybe some aren't. So what is the mission of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so the CNCF is part of the Linux Foundation, and our mission is to make cloud computing ubiquitous. So that means that we support open source projects, the developers that create them, as well as the end users that use them, and the service providers that create services around those. So we were created in 2015 originally to be the neutral home for Kubernetes, but we've now grown to about 180 additional projects covering everything from application development to networking to storage and, of course, AI.
Awesome. And I know that Oracle has been working very closely with the CNCF lately. We have our exec on your governance board, and I know that a lot of CNCF projects are now starting to leverage the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing with Oracle and how's that going?
Okay, yeah, so Oracle is a platinum member of the CNCF, so a huge supporter of the organization. And at KubeCon in November in Chicago, you announced that you were giving $3 million in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure credits to our projects. And 2 months ago at our KubeCon in Paris, one of your executives highlighted the 10 projects already making use of those, in particular the ARM credits. So using them in GitHub Actions for building and running and testing integrations across all the platforms. So great partner for us.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about AI. What's the connection between cloud native and AI? How should a developer think about leveraging cloud native technologies for AI, and what does it mean?
Yeah, so Kubernetes is at the center of the CNCF, and that's long been the platform of choice for people who are training models, trying to harness a whole bunch of resources underneath them, use them effectively. So training models, as well as actually deploying applications to do inference within other applications. So the CNCF, Kubernetes is essentially the de facto platform for everything behind AI, and helping make use, for example, of GPUs effectively through dynamic resource allocation, a new feature in Kubernetes. Mm-hmm. We've also spun up a working group to understand how AI works most efficiently with Kubernetes. And there's a new white paper. I encourage you to check it out. Shows you how all this comes together, how you as developers can harness those resources and move it forward. And we can hope folks can contribute to that working group as well.
Yeah, I got a chance to read that white paper. It's very comprehensive, very easy read, so I encourage all of you to check that out. Tell me a little bit about some of the exciting projects that are coming out of the CNCF. What should we be looking out for?
Okay, so going beyond Kubernetes, there are almost 200 additional projects. So there's things like standards and protocols like gRPC, so basically your interface to models. There's other Linux Foundation projects like Kubeflow and Knative that can be used to run those applications. So those are definitely things that folks should check out. And of interest too is eBPF, so new features within the Linux kernel, WASM for application development. All these things are coming together to advance the next level of cloud native computing and also support AI.
That's fantastic. So as a developer, what can I do to participate, engage in this community? What advice do you have for the audience here?
Okay, so the CNCF is a huge community. There's lots of ways to get involved, whether you want to contribute to open source projects, whether you're technical or not, or if you're an end user that wants to report a bug or suggest a new area to explore. There's lots of ways to do that, and by getting hands-on with the technology, particularly Kubernetes, you're building skills that help you make great use of OCI, the Kubernetes engine, the code engine on Kubernetes as well. So it's a great way to build your skills, make use of Oracle, how you're doing it, and also make yourself more marketable as a developer.
Great. And where does the CNCF go from here?
So we're always looking at different ways to integrate cloud native. And in fact, one of the things I did earlier in my career, you mentioned cloud events. That was something that came out of the serverless working group. So we're always spinning up new areas, exploring how that can come together. And we think that there's a lot of great potential in WASM, eBPF, and of course, AI, and some of the existing technologies are now coming together to be harnessed to support those AI workloads.
Fantastic. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure.
All right, thank you, Anand. Have a great event.
From the CNCF. Java remains the world's most important language, and Oracle obviously is a steward of Java. There are over 60 billion JVMs that are actively running, and a lot of them are going to end up in the cloud very, very quickly. Oracle is continuing to innovate in the Java space. Many of you may not be aware, but over 70% of the code in the OpenJDK comes from Oracle. And we're stewarding projects like Loom for concurrency, Valhalla for better memory management, Panama, etc. And so we're moving the needle when it comes to Java. And this week, we announced Oracle's plans for Oracle Code Assist, and I'm super excited about what this is. What Oracle Code Assist is an AI-assisted coding developer assistant that is going to help you remove a lot of the mundane tasks that you have to deal with as a developer on a daily basis and let you focus on the things that matter the most. Now, it's a polyglot tool, which means it'll support all the major languages, but as you just heard, Oracle has some very unique expertise and assets in the Java space, but also in SQL. And we want to make sure that we can bring those assets to bear to build great experience, especially for Java and SQL developers, but also for other languages. So what is Oracle Code Assist? Well, you're going to see Oracle Code Assist as a developer in the form of an IDE plugin, support for IntelliJ, IDEA, VS Code, and many more to come. It's a code assistant that is powered by large language models that are running on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And as I mentioned earlier, even though we are fine-tuning it specifically using our Java expertise, it's polyglot, which means it'll support all the major languages. It's already being used by Oracle developers today, and they're already seeing incredible value in just things like testing. Test generation remains a challenge for developers. Documentation, annotation, and so much more. I'd like to show you a quick demo of Oracle Code Assist. Play the demo, please.
This demo showcases Oracle Code Assist, an AI code companion powered by Java, SQL, and OCI-trained large language models running in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. You can access Oracle Code Assist within IntelliJ IDE by clicking on the Oracle logo. Once activated, the side panel will pop up with two tabs within: Chat and Solutions. Chat is where I can type prompts and ask Code Assist to generate code, validate YAML, and troubleshoot errors. Let's ask Code Assist to create Java code for the WebSocket server. Let's walk through the demo use case that utilizes the Solutions tab. I have a Java application that uses Spring Boot, and I want to fetch an attribute from one of the services in OCI. Let's use Code Assist to define the POJO class that consists of variable values, getters, and setters. I will now create a new class. Then right-click and choose Generate Code from the submenu. If I'm happy with the response, I can click Accept Solution to transfer it over to my code base. Now that I have defined my class, I will return to the main method and define a collection class to call the service and handle its response. Then I will right-click again and select Generate Code to finalize this method. Oracle Code Assist can generate documentation and Javadoc with a click of a button. I can choose the method, then right-click and select Generate Documentation. Oracle Code Assist will generate all of the comments, and I can click the Accept Solution button to proceed and move comments to my code base. Oracle Code Assist is also capable of generating unit tests from your methods, including mocking internal services used by the method. By selecting my method, I can right-click and choose Generate Unit Test. Oracle Code Assist will generate the code for me, and by accepting the solution, a new file will be created in my test directory. Oracle Code Assist is an AI code companion to boost developer velocity, enhance code consistency, and it is optimized for Java, SQL, and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Powered by a large language model running on OCI, Oracle Code Assist provides developers with context-specific suggestions which can be tailored to an organization's best practice and code base. Oracle Code Assist helps you build applications faster with AI.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, I think, yeah, I can't wait to get these in front of you so you can try it out yourself. Now, let's talk about AI. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, developers want to infuse AI into applications, and they want to do it in a very easy way. And what Oracle has done is to assemble a set of AI services. And the way to think about it is that we have two sets of services. One is obviously generative AI, which is the new kid in the block. But we also provide a lot of task-specific, use case-specific AI services for a number of important use cases for app developers. So when you think about the task-specific ones first, Oracle provides a lot of out-of-the-box AI services that you can easily integrate. We provide SDKs and APIs for it, for things like digital assistants that is great for customer support, customer service, speech, right, language, translation, image recognition, face recognition, vision, document understanding, extracting keywords, extracting sentiments, etc. And these are available out of the box and easy to integrate for you. And we see a number of customers benefit from this and find ROI very, very quickly. And I'll give you an example of Bosch, a customer of ours. Bosch is obviously has multiple business lines, and they built a virtual agent called Beto that was based on our digital assistant. And Beto is already fielding a number of customer support calls. And the interesting thing was they found that in over 50% of cases, the problems were solved by the AI itself. It doesn't have to be passed on to a human being. So incredible savings that you can achieve very, very quickly by leveraging these out-of-the-box, task-specific AI services. Now let's talk about generative AI. Now, it's pretty obvious that generative AI is really exciting, and we at Oracle believe that there are so many use cases. We're only kind of scratching the surface of what's possible with generative AI. Generative AI use cases span the entire gamut of disciplines and functions within an enterprise, from marketing and sales. We talked about development, strategy, planning, finance, HR, so much more. I mean, take recruiting, for example. We continue to be in a war for talent, and generative AI can build very powerful, attractive job recs. It can write job recs for you. And in fact, even participate in the screening process, so you can build a much larger funnel of candidates. Generative AI is already doing amazing work in the knowledge workers area. Right? You have knowledge workers, strategy folks that have to go through lots and lots of documentation, research papers. And one of the things that Gen AI tools are already really, really good at is being able to make sense of them, synthesize, and summarize. So the job of knowledge workers is going to become much smoother because of the help of generative AI. And Oracle believes that it will truly transform the enterprise. And it's already happening. But we have taken a very enterprise-focused, practical approach to generative AI. And the most important thing, of course, is that we want to make sure that AI works for you, that it's combined with the power of your most critical asset, which is your data, right? But any new technology brings with it questions about security. There are new threat vectors that emerge, and we're already starting to see things like prompt injection attacks and whatnot. Privacy is very, very important. Bias. It's very important when you think about implementing AI at an enterprise that you think about all of these issues, and that's really what Oracle is singularly focused on. And don't take my word for it. When you talk to the experts, they see that Oracle has really simplified the process of adoption of generative AI within the enterprise. We launched the generative AI service late last year, and we came out in GA this year. So what is a generative AI service that we provide? Well, it starts with large language models. Today, we provide a suite of models from our partner Cohere, as well as a model from Meta, the Llama model. It's available for you to use. We have a playground that you can use to play with it. We also provide you the opportunity to deploy these models in your own kind of dedicated clusters. You can use it to fine-tune the models. The data that you provide to tune the models remains yours. It's not passed on to the model providers. So it's safe and secure in that way. And you can very easily create and manage endpoints to expose either the general models or your custom models and use them into your applications. Now, large language models are obviously awesome, but they have some limitations. And the fundamental limitation is that any model is trained on a corpus of data. LLMs are trained on a vast corpus of publicly available data, but that means that, generally speaking, they don't know anything about your enterprise. And the large language model certainly doesn't know anything about the state of your business today, your existing inventory, for example. So when asked questions like that, what happens is that either the model will say it doesn't know, or it tends to hallucinate. And hallucination is a problem that a lot of you are familiar with. The critical takeaway here is that large language models are an important technology, but to really find the value from it, you have to connect it with other data sources, which may be residing on-premise, in the cloud, or elsewhere. And agents play a very, very important role. And the first agent that Oracle is releasing is called retrieval augmented generation. I like to think of retrieval augmented generation as a kind of open book test. Remember the days where you had to take open book tests, which was great because if you didn't know something, you had a book next to you and you could just refer to it, and you provided a much better answer than make something up, which is what LLMs do. Yeah, and RAG holds really strong promise to be able to get rid of hallucination, really ground the large language model responses with your enterprise data. So I'd like to roll through a quick demo of our retrieval augmented generation capability. Demo, please.
Natalie, our customer, is trying to figure out why her generator isn't starting up. She's asking a large language model chatbot, which can interpret her question pretty much any way she asks it. And this application does more than just chat. It's connected to a number of back-end systems like the user, knowledge base, and inventory systems. In this case, the system is searching in a knowledge base and will include links to the relevant items with its response. Natalie can ask a follow-up question like, which spark plug best meets her needs? The application goes back to the knowledge base, but it does it while maintaining the context and history of the conversation. Natalie does not have to restate her generator model or anything she's already said. To let Natalie know where she can get the spark plug, the large language model can translate her natural language prompt into an SQL query and pull the information from other systems, like a customer database, to first discover where Natalie is located, and then an inventory system to look for matching parts. The application can even create an online order for Natalie, with her permission to pull more information from the customer database. And just like that, Natalie's problem is solved.
RAG is going to play a very, very important role in the enterprise. It's already starting to do that. Now, as developers, when we think about how do you actually create these applications that are chaining together, connecting different repositories, perhaps, LangChain is emerging as a very, very important framework that developers are adopting to build these applications that connect large language models with other sources. And Oracle is integrating with LangChain so that now you can start to leverage our generative AI service, the models that we provide, into your LangChain-based large language model applications. Customers like Intermedia are already starting to see the value of leveraging OCI's generative AI service. Things like summarization saves up a lot of time for customer support agents who have to write these things, and large language models are excellent at doing these tasks. Let's talk about the data layer. As I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, when you're writing intelligent, data-driven, data-intensive applications, you have to focus on the most critical asset that you have, which is data. As developers, you want to have the freedom of choice to be able to use any kind of data. You want to be able to choose the right database for your needs. So what do we mean by any kind of data? Well, it could be structured data, it could be relational, it could be graph data, or it could be semi-structured data like JSON documents, XML, geospatial data. You want to be able to provide support for any type of workload, whether you're talking about transactional or analytics workloads. You want to be able to leverage any development style. And this is why the Oracle database has focused on a converged approach. We want to be able to support any type of data, any type of workload, transactional or analytics. Allow you to use any development style and make that happen at scale through our converged architecture. And a few days ago, we announced our next long-term support release, 23AI. Really, really exciting development. Over 300 new features and thousands of enhancements in this product. It's building on top of our prior innovation release 21C. And it has a number of very critical AI supporting technologies. That's why we called it 23AI. I want to talk about a couple of them. AI vector search. We talked about RAG. The way RAGs work is you take a document, you convert it into vectors, and then you run similarity searches. And that's how the LLMs can get some context when they're prompted a specific question, maybe about what's happening with your supply chain, what's happening with your inventory levels. JSON relational duality is a very, very critical problem that we've solved with 23AI. As a developer, relational models have their own advantages, consistency, et cetera. But JSON models, document models, have flexibility and ease of use. And historically, as an application developer, you had to choose one or the other. Now with the power of JSON relational duality, you don't have to. The data gets stored in a relational form, but you can interact with it using JSON APIs. Really powerful technology that's going to transform applications. And then finally, cache, right? Developers know that they have to maintain the cache, they have to write code to sync everything, make sure it's okay. With true cache, it's a true mid-tier, high-performance cache. Oracle takes all of that load away from developers. And there's a lot more. And just to reiterate, 23AI is building on top of innovations that were already part of the 21C release, which was our last innovation release. So how do you get to 23AI? You have to be either on the 19C version or the 21C version. And we provide auto upgrade facilities and tools that makes it very easy for you to upgrade from a prior version to 19C, and you can use the same tool then to be able to upgrade to 23AI. So fantastic innovations in the Oracle database that's going to enable and light up a lot of these AI applications. But the reality is we know that as developers, you also love open source databases. And we want to support that. MySQL is a very, very important, probably one of the most popular open source databases out there. And with MySQL HeatWave, we now have one database service that can support both your transactional as well as analytics use cases. It's highly performant, 6 times the performance of Amazon Redshift with its in-memory and massively parallel query processing engine. AutoML allows you to build, deploy ML models into the database with no additional cost. And recently, MySQL HeatWave supports vector store, which means now you can use large language models and natural language to be able to interact with data in your MySQL HeatWave Lakehouse. We've also introduced a lot of managed open source offerings, such as Postgres, which offers fantastic performance. It's 3 times more performant than your own self-managed Postgres. It's much cheaper than our competitors. We also offer managed OpenSearch, managed Redis, and more to come. And the final layer of the stack is infrastructure. This is often the unsung hero of it all. And as I mentioned earlier, in order for AI workloads, whether they be training or inference to run, you really need highly performant infrastructure. Oracle has focused on infrastructure for a very long time, from our Sun days and even beyond that. And we brought those know-how, we brought that know-how to bear right from day one when we started building Oracle Cloud. Now, when it comes to AI and infrastructure, it's frankly almost impossible to have a conversation without talking about NVIDIA. And Oracle has been very proud to partner with NVIDIA into bringing very powerful, performant infrastructure into the Oracle Cloud. To discuss that, I'd like to invite Ken Hester, who's a director of high-performance computing solutions architecture from NVIDIA, to spend a few minutes talking about the work that NVIDIA is doing with Oracle. Ken?
So I spend my days largely helping customers as a solution architect at NVIDIA through code optimization, porting. It could be code development, and even helping them become aware of infrastructure and how to best utilize it. So my first intent was to come up here today and do a line-by-line code walkthrough for 15 minutes to really show you how to get the most out of your CPU and GPU. But I had a crackpot team that said, hey, Oracle Code Assist is going to be talked about. That's not going to be the topic of conversation today. So you can rest easy. We won't be doing code reviews. But what we will be talking about is our strategic relationship with OCI, which is a key AI partner for NVIDIA. And we're going to talk about collaboration, innovation, and a trusted leadership that they bring to our relationship and our ecosystem. We are often thrilled to introduce groundbreaking AI solutions that we collaborate with OCI on, both leveraging NVIDIA GPUs and NVIDIA's AI Enterprise, which are available through the OCI Marketplace. We provide a comprehensive stack of hardware, software, and support, really to help you accelerate your time to market through the AI frameworks. Additionally, we collaborate, and maybe some of you don't know this, but we collaborate with Oracle on a lot of their software platforms. And so as we look to the OCI services such as OCI Data Science, OCI Data Flow, Oracle Spatial and Graph Databases, and Java, they're all acceleratable on top of the NVIDIA platform. So there's a lot of goodness that happens both in traditional compute, in data acquisition, as well as in AI and generative AI. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. Oracle was our first DGX cloud partner. Many people don't know that. That is NVIDIA's strategic platform for go-to-market for AI and generative AI model building, training, and inferencing. Our engineers have worked together to innovate a platform that was architected and optimized for the demands of generative AI. And as we go through the presentation, we'll really understand more about the complexities within that infrastructure and how we solve that collaboratively. But the real the real, when we already heard this today from Anand, that the real value here is that trusted relationship that OCI has as it relates to their stewardship of your data and your intellectual property. And that could be 1D and 2D assets that you have within their ecosystem. It could be structured, unstructured data that you have in the different data repositories. It could be your data landfill, your data lake, or even your unstructured data files that are available to you within their ecosystem. They're great stewards of it all, and as we see with generative AI, we're now going to have the ability to reach in and materialize that into knowledge management systems rather than just data sitting on folders. NVIDIA's leadership in generative AI, which is what we're bringing to this conversation, and as well as how to really tune and accelerate a data center for accelerated computing within generative AI, combined with OCI's reliability in this conversation, for sure positions us to offer the fastest path to generative AI in 2024 for you. Great. And so as we look to, how do we even get here? Like, why is generative AI such a complicated problem? Well, when Moore's Law ended, it really was the catalyst to get us onto accelerated computing, particularly the NVIDIA GPUs. But the recent surge in AI, so we saw AI coming onto the ecosystem. We saw this sort of large growth in computational demand. But generative AI has really exploded the amount of compute required as these models continue to get bigger and bigger. And you're training on a lot of those models, or rebuilding those models, or building models on top of those models, so you're requiring the same level of compute. And you're reaching out to OCI to be able to find the computational capacity to actually achieve that. Well, NVIDIA took their goodness, and we do this internally too, so we actually use the same framework called DGX Cloud, and we made that available through the OCI marketplace. And again, it's available today to you. And this really is our end-to-end platform, AI platform, for developers to create next-generation generative AI applications for your respective companies. So one of the things that was important here is that it required quite a bit of additional work to actually make this happen, and our collaboration with OCI really helped us get the best and the most out of the NVIDIA architecture within the OCI framework. So we sort of talked about this growth in generative AI demand, and NVIDIA spends quite a bit of time really looking at how do we stay in front of this next generation AI and the capacity to generate models for the customer. And one of the ways that we do that is through architecture of our hardware. We've had a great success story with our V100s, our A100s, our L40s, our H100s, our A10s. All of these GPUs are available within the OCI marketplace for both accelerated computing and in AI. But as we look into what's being required for generative AI, we saw that the demand was growing significantly. We architected and we delivered and announced at GTC the NVIDIA Blackwell architecture, which we're hoping to bring to OCI soon. So the Blackwell architecture introduces some groundbreaking enhancements, just like we did in the H100 with transformer cores. There's going to be some groundbreaking advancements that we'll be announcing soon that will show us how we're going to get the most out of generative AI within OCI. This actually helps propel the data center into a new era with the additional compute capacity that we can now achieve, for at least AI compute capacity that we can now achieve on the Blackwell architecture. We can actually go to sort of this next generation infrastructure. So we actually announced the GB200 NVL72. I'll decrypt that for you. That's a lot of NVIDIA talk. So we have the Hopper series, the H100 series, and we have a Grace Hopper version of that, and Grace is our ARM CPU. So in this world, on this module, you see that we have a ARM CPU called Grace, that's the G, and there's two Blackwells, B200, delivering state-of-the-art generative AI model building. With this, we can now interconnect 36 Grace CPUs, ARM CPUs, and 72 Blackwell GPUs across an NVLink backplane, delivering 130 terabytes per second of bandwidth, creating a massive 1.4 exaflop AI computing machine. This is truly the state of the art for generative AI model building. But it wouldn't be as helpful if I just sort of just landed this into a data center and said, hey, good luck. So we actually work really hard, not only through our DGX cloud offering, which gives you a lot of control of what's happening within your multi-node scale-out architecture for generative AI model building, but we try to roll a lot of the goodness that's required for software developers into a platform called NVIDIA NIM. Can you go back one slide? Thank you. And so the NVIDIA NIM is a simple way to deploy AI models using a standard API path. So this is a microservice architecture that's optimized for inference. And this is sort of that second stage. So we have model building, and then we have inferencing. And so the NIM platform is built using pre-built containers. These NIM the platforms pre-built. I'm sorry, there must be a timer on it. Can you back it up one slide? Can you go back one slide? So we actually ensure that we have tested these containers against a robust architecture, make sure they're validated across the various environments that you might actually run them in. We also recognize the importance of customization, so we do allow you to customize the models based on existing and well-known large language models, LLMs, visual language models, video processing. We offer it in healthcare and some other environments. All of this is available to you through the OCI marketplace. And so I'll sort of step back and sort of say, hey, like this is this collaboration between Oracle and NVIDIA is strategic. We work closely to make sure that we're adopting best practices so that our work with our joint customers gives what we call speed of light at NVIDIA. So the speed of light is your journey through the fastest possible path to success. So we make sure we roll the goodness into not only to our hardware, but into our software offering with things like NVIDIA NIM. This gives you the choice. This gives you the ability and the choice of which GPU accelerators to use. As we often talk, we want to make sure you're getting the best performance per watt as well as the best performance per dollar. We have ways to achieve that through the OCI marketplace with the broad offering of GPUs that are available up there. Some are great, like the L40S and the H100 and the H100 and the A100 with their tensor cores for model training and also for model inferencing. And now with the A10 available as well, you can get some great scale-out inferencing platforms as well. We are here to build the biggest and largest AI supercomputers for the best LLM model training. That is our objective with the latest generation of Blackwell architecture, as well as the NVLink backplane to give you the 1.4 exaflops of compute. And of course, all of this is available through the NVIDIA DGX cloud and NVIDIA's AI enterprise through the OCI marketplace. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ken, and to NVIDIA for being such a great partner, but also for sponsoring this event. So thank you again. So in closing, I'd like to talk a little bit about what developers can do to get started with Oracle AI. There are lots of resources on our website. But what I would recommend is that you start with certification. There is an OCI AI Foundations Associate course that actually I've taken. It's available on our learning platform. We're really excited to launch the AI Solutions Hub that allows you to get quick starts on lots of use cases, and there's sample code, so you can experiment with it and play and start very, very quickly. And I was told that there's actually an offer for the AI certification between now and end of July, where if you use this QR code, you can, it's valid until end of July, you can take the OCI Gen AI Professional course and become an OCI Generative AI Professional certificate owner. There are also lots of other developer resources that Oracle Cloud offers. We have cloud credits. We also have a very, very generous free tier, including a number of always free services. The developer portal at Oracle offers a lot of knowledge base as well as articles to engage with Oracle and get to know more about Oracle Cloud. Okay, so with that, I'd like to kick off Dev Live. We have a lot of things on offer today. There are 4 different tracks, including AI and cloud native, database, Java, and MySQL. I hope you walk around the expo halls and talk to our experts and get to know the various things they're bringing to bear to help your lives better as developers. So with that, I'd like to kick off Dev Live. And again, thank you for joining us.